Good evening, wherever you are in the world of the country. I'm Tawana Carlton, your host of Soul Cooking with Tea. And today, this is Asking the Family. It's time for a family meeting. So, give me just a moment to make sure that I am live on Soul Cooking with Tea. And as you come in, I ask that you take time and invite your family and friends because it is a family meeting. It is a family meeting. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining me here live in Soul Cooking with Tea. Thank you so much for joining me here live. So as I sent out a message earlier, just 5, 7, 8 minutes ago, and it said it is time for a family meeting. So let me just make sure that I get over to our page because I want to make sure I share this out with my family and friends. So welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. It is a family meeting. It is very important today that we have a family meeting. I know this is just something that's out of the norm for Soul Cooking with Tea. I'm not cooking today because really I needed your full attention. Hello, thank you so much for joining. So give me a second. Let me get over to Soul Cooking with Tea so that I can share this out. Sure my family and friends know that we are live and that I can share to them so that they know exactly what's going on. I'm not going to hold you long, but like I said, it is time for a family meeting. And so I wanted to make sure I got this message out. It kind of disturbed me this morning, so just give me a second. Hello again for those that are catching me live and those that will catch the replay. So let me share right now. Okay. So again, thank you for taking your time out to come and join me here in Soul Cooking with Tea. So Soul Cooking with Tea believes that it is time, and since we started, it's about bringing families back to the table. This morning I was very disturbed by a video I saw. I'll try to check the news, first thing in the morning after my prayer or, right after. And so this morning, as I was going through the news feed, there I saw another shooting. Thank you so much for joining. And it was another shooting. And so I'm very disturbed about these shootings that are going on by police officers. And so that's why I said it is time for a family meeting. Listen, it is time that we bring our families back to the table. It is time that we have the discussion. Listen, it may be hard to have this heart-to-heart talk with our families, but it is very, very important. Listen, we do have great police officers serving in our communities. I'm not knocking those that are not serving and doing exactly, what is needed to do to protect and serve in every community. But I do have a problem with cops that just take their gun out and think it is okay to shoot no matter what color the person is. I'm not looking at color. I'm looking at that you are shooting people. And if they are threatening you, then I understand that, you have to, take some type of authority over it, whether it be that you tase them. Listen, it should be other ways instead of pulling your gun. The first thing you pull is your gun. The young man this past week that was shot while getting back into his car. This morning, the family, got news that there's a possibility that he may not be completely paralyzed. But it is so much going on, not only in the black community, but in all brown communities. Listen, I saw another video this morning where a young man was handcuffed on the ground with a cop with his knee on his neck. And as they were picking him up off of the ground, he's handcuffed. He's under control. I don't know what happened, what happened before. But as they were picking him up, they slammed his head on the side of the sidewalk. That is unacceptable. I don't care. It's truly unacceptable. As being living in this U.S. of A. That's why I said it is time to have those conversations. It's time to bring our families back together. Listen, it is time for those in our communities. It's time for them to step up, to start to have that voice. Because if we don't speak up and have a voice in our communities, things are going to get worse instead of better. And I don't know what else that we can do except come together as a community. We need to also be praying for our community. We need to be praying for this country. We need to be praying that things have to change, because there's so much racism in this world, in this country, and it is not acceptable. I grew up in the South, and some of you already know that I grew up in the South. And living in the South, I never had to face racism. Our grandmother taught us about people and not about color of the skin. And so I don't see skin color, I see people. And so I'm thankful that she taught me that. But to have people that live in this country, to live in these United States, to have a problem with the color of my skin, to have a problem with the color of my son's skin, to have a problem with the color of my sisters and my relatives, that's a problem. That's a problem, that we live in a country that the color of my sisters and brothers, no matter what color you are, brown is what I'm talking about, that you have a problem with the color of their skin. Listen, we live in a free country. I can remember, and I was sharing a story just last week with my family. I remember going to the doctor, and it was 1979, and I live, like I said, I'm from Troy, Alabama. And I remember going to the doctor, and my grandmother took me to the doctor because I was having troubles with my tonsils. And I remember asking her as we got inside the doctor's office, why is it that it's another waiting room on the other side? Here it is, 1979. And she told me, well, that's the whites come on that side and the blacks come on this side. But when we got in the back to see the doctor, listen, there were two nurses. There was a black nurse and there was a white nurse. But I saw either nurse. So either nurse came in to see me. So I could not understand that here we are in 1979 and we still had a waiting room. Sorry, it's kind of warm here and I don't have the air blowing on me. So forgive me. And I could not understand why I was in an office where there was a waiting room for whites and there was a waiting room for blacks. But then when you get in the back to be seen, my doctor, of course, was white. And like I said, he had a nurse that was black and one nurse that was white. But either nurse would come in to see you. So I could not understand that. And as I grew up, you know, our grandmother would share stories with us, you know, about racism and how things that she had to endure growing up. But for me, I've never had to go to any of my friends' back door. I never had to go to the side door. I could always go to the front door. I never had a problem with a cop that wasn't my color. I never had a problem with a state trooper being stopped. And I thank God that I never had to endure that. And none of our family, you know, close family, has never had to endure that as racism. And so I said it is important that we come back to the table, because time that we have those conversations with our family, because of the color of our skin, people have a problem with it, and I don't understand that. That just does not register with me. I've been in stores where and this has happened since I've moved to the West Coast. Like I said, I've never had a problem living, you know, in the South. But since I moved to the West Coast, one thing, you know, I can share with you is that when I handed the person my money, and instead of them handing my money back in my hand, they threw my money on the counter. So that was things my grandmother talked to us about. It's about, you know, when you're in the store, hello, thank you so much for joining. That when back in her day, because white people did not want to touch you because of the color of your skin. And so I could not understand when it happened to me that this lady would throw my money on the counter. And I said to her, no, I gave you my money in your hand, and I need you to pick my money up and put it back in my hand. And so, like I said, I've never had to experience racism until I moved to the West Coast. And I still didn't understand that here we are in the 2000, you know, still having problems with racism. I don't understand that why we are gunned down on the street. I don't understand why we are having black on black crime. Listen, I just recently in my hometown, there was some young men that were killed. I don't understand why someone is not standing up, speaking up Listen, we got to stand together. We got to come together as a community, because listen, we are having black on black crime. We are having cops killing people of brown color, and I don't understand it. We are so much racism. Another thing I read this morning is where a man was in the store, and I don't know, I didn't really get into the story, but I saw the video, and he was being asked, the cop wanted to see his identification because he wanted to make sure it was his credit card. Like, did he steal something? Did the credit card come up saying stolen? Like, I don't understand why this is happening. And you could hear the cop in the background saying, listen, I just need to make sure it's you. And the man is saying, listen, here's all my credit card. Here's my identification. And you can see my name is on my credit card. It is time to bring our families back to the table, because this is unacceptable what is going on in this world, in the country, about brown skinned people. I'm talking about brown skinned people. Listen, we have to stop this black on black crime. We have got to talk to our young men. We have got to talk to our young ladies. It is time to put the guns down. It is time to come to the table, because we cannot solve anything with a gun, because now we are losing our people, our young people, our brown-skinned children. Now we are losing them to the violence that's going on in the streets. And now you're being, charged with murder. You've been charged with capital murder. You've been charged with kidnapping. You've been charged with all these different things of these crimes that you may or may not have committed. But we have got to bring our families back to the table. It is time to have those hard conversations. I hope that I don't offend anyone, but listen, it is time. I don't care what color you are, what race you are. It is time to come to the table so that we can have these conversations, so that we can come to some type of resolution, because it is too much going on in this country with the racism, those that in power. Listen, the time has come, and we are approaching a new season to vote, and that we are having so much trouble with the mail system. We're having, controversial about, how the votes are being counted. Listen, there are ancestors that have died no matter what color they were. They were people that were white. There were people that were Puerto Rican. There were people that were Mexican. There were people that were Indians. It does not matter about the color, but our ancestors fought for us to have the right to vote. And listen, it is your responsibility to get out and vote, making sure that those that don't have transportation, listen, say, hey, I'll take you to polls to make sure that your vote is counted, and making sure that you get the word to those young people that say, listen, my vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're going to do whatever they want. No, it does matter. Your vote does count. And it is our responsibility as elders, and now I can say elder because I am past 50, that it is my responsibility to encourage those young people to get out, to vote, to get involved in your community. And we have to have those conversations. And so why I came in today, because it is important. It just disturbed me that I continue to see videos where people of color are being, have so much racism. We are being killed. We are being beaten. And then we have where we, as a race of people, are having black on black crime, brown on brown crime. Sorry about that. But it is important that we as leaders, there's leaders in the community, it's time to step up. Listen, we have to step up, because if Martin, Malcolm, Congressman John Lewis, it is so many that took that stand for us, no matter what color. It wasn't about that it was for blacks. It was for all people. And they took a stand. They stood up. They were beaten. They were harassed. They were jailed for what they knew was right. They knew that we had to speak up. And sometimes we have to speak up. Like, it is time. So I encourage you. I just wanted to come on because I could not continue to not say anything, because as Soul Cooking hosts, that's what we believe in. It is about bringing our families back to the table. And this is the time that we bring our families back to the table, because so much is going on in this world and country. And I just want us to know that I'm here. to do whatever I can to have that conversation, because in so many ways now we can have those conversations in different communities. And so if I can be of service to anyone in any wherever you are, know that we can, set up a time and we can have those round table, that Zoom meeting, that conference call, because something has to be done about what is going on in our country. I thank you so much, you all, for joining me live. Is anyone that would like to come on live with me and just express how you are feeling about what is going on here? Something that we could do as a community, as a country, to start, changing. There has to be some laws, but we have to start changing at home. And so therefore, it has to start at home. It has to be that time that we start to talk and have that conversation around the table. I thank you all so much for joining me live, and those that will catch the replay. Please share this out with your family and friends, and let them know that we had a family meeting. Is anyone here live that would like to join? Clara says, well spoken. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is it Sierra? Hopefully I pronounced your name correctly, Sierra. Thank you so much for joining, and welcome to Soul Cooking with T, family and friends. It's Clara, because I can't see. Is it Clara or Sierra? I think it's Sierra, because I got my glasses on, but it's a little blurry on my screen. So forgive me if I pronounce your name incorrectly. But I thank you so much for joining us here today. Anyone else here that would like to jump on with me, that would like to have something to say, the input, or want to start, I encourage you all to start something in your communities. You can start small and start reaching. You'll be surprised at how you can reach people in your community by starting to have meetings. And I know in my hometown they just had an election, so make sure you reach out to your city officials, your councilmen, your councilwomen, and making sure that your voice is heard, because that's very, very important, that your voice is heard, because your vote does matter. Your vote does matter. So again, I am Tawana Carlton, your host of Soul Cooking with T, and we just had to come in this evening, to have a family meeting. Is very important. So make sure you share this out with your family and friends, and tell them about Soul Cooking with T. Have an amazing, blessed evening.